Hello and welcome to the show. What a show it is. It's the Fax Request Show. It's the crowdsourced, audience-funded community show that makes everybody rich. And we got an excellent fax request in at the top of the show from your fan and mine, Alex. It's Alex Salmond. He asks, with the US markets poised on a knife's edge ahead of the November the 5th election, what insights can you provide, Tradespotting, regarding the recent market trends and the potential impact of the incumbents' economic policies on their re-election prospects? So, a little bit of an answer here to who's going to win the election in America coming up soon. This is them charts. Oh my goodness gracious me, look at them. That's from back in the day when it was all fine and dandy. We had so much to look forward to. We were all so happy and the world was a better place. Then price action started moving on. US markets here stand on the precipice of history. Looming spectre of that November the 5th election. It cast a profound shadow over investor sentiment. Recent market movements have been nothing short of seismic. We've seen tumultuous moves between bullish exuberance and bearish caution. Cast your gaze back there to the start of this chart and what we were looking at the top of the show before the replay began. That was July 2023. The SPY had reached a crescendo. It put in a bearish top, only to falter under that weight there, the heavy burden of price action. Just when conventional wisdom would have anticipated a downward spiral, the market defied expectations, surging upwards through bearish parallel channel, breaking that resistance, and that led on to a wave of bullish momentum. Fast forward to the dawn of 2024 in this red circle, the market narrative then shifted, took another twist. Momentum rules supreme. Index breached previous highs and continued to do so, pushing on, painting a picture of unassailable strength. However, beneath that veneer of confidence lies a subtle truth. Oscillation peaks, which themselves betrayed a waning momentum, were then obviously defied when the pullback stood as a testament to unwavering resilience, being bought up at higher and higher lows. In this high-stake game of the dynamics there in the market recently, the November election is coming forward as a litmus test. The challenger is armed with a formidable economic association. Whether it's true or not, it's up to you to make your own mind up. I personally think that he's fucking shit at economics, but it's each to your own. So he's got that really strong, formidable armor around him somehow, and he's staking his claim on the strength of his fiscal prowess, that and invented problems that aren't real, and he's hoping to win the election with them. Meanwhile, the incumbent, fueled by the ambition of a second term, he's grappling with the weight of historical precedent. How often, I ask you, you're American, you guys know and understand and rule the political landscape, how often in the annals of the past 150 years has a sitting president defied the odds and clinched a consecutive term, discounting those outliers that you guys assassinate? So in the corridors of power, this president, currently in charge, holds sway over more than mere rhetoric, which I deliver with a nasty punch to the gut. He has deft maneuvering and strategic finesse, which he uses to command the levers of economic policy, wields influence over the Federal Reserve and its esteemed head, its personified leader there, Jerome Powell. You can see him on the charts. And through this delicate balance of policy directives and public discourse, the president will seek to shape the economic landscape in their favour with an eye towards securing this election. You can see price action's been in a tightening formation as it moved to the top side and dropped out again on a bearish peak, putting in this retracement, filling in a gap below on price action. I hope that fax is for more than $500 if it's a preliminary look at a ticker. As traders, It's your job to navigate these choppy waters and stay acutely attuned to the interplay of market forces and these political machinations. Will the incumbent release a barrage of economic stimulus in the run-up to election, tipping the scales in their favour? The answer isn't shrouded in mystery or swirling in the mists of uncertainty. It's fucking obvious. The market speculation will converge with the tumult of this electoral political shenanigans. We can forge a narrative now, ripe with clarity and obviousness. Has price action put in those higher lows? We drew them out before, ahead of time. What will happen? Well, Biden, what's going to happen is, we'll go up to the weekly time frame, make it more obvious. This is Biden, here he is, he's eating some ice cream. He's aware of this vertical line on the charts. That's where he's seeking to boost the economy in the run up to that area. Here's Jerome, he's got a big blue line through him. We'll move that and him over to the side. You can see this is an upward trend. It's not all that complicated. You come in, touch the bottom of these lows, 3 of them in fact. So it's a real trend line. If it is that the economy is about to collapse, it would have to break that trend line in order to be a lower low. On SPX, that comes in at 4,500. That's also where we find a gap on the charts and on SPY. If it goes down there, well, somebody will be eating their shorts. I very much think that this guy wants it to go quite much higher. I expect he'll put it there because he can. And that's an interesting fact, isn't it? That he can. He can. So why the fuck wouldn't he? Think about it. Why wouldn't he? Is there something else he has to do that's stopping him? No. So he will. It's obvious. Okay, there's your answer, Alex Salmon. Thanks very much for getting in touch. We also had a fax request from Minner, $5, bing bong, appreciate it. Chardonnay Flasher, $50, legend. But unfortunately, that's only 50% of what's required for a fax request. So you can either have it back or I'll donate it to charity. If we were waiting on an entry for 5, what would be the top 5 things you would be looking at? Thank you for everything. I can't answer that question because I can't do fax requests for less than $100. I'm so sorry. My determination is to be the most highest tier, highest priced YouTuber for analysis in the world. I'm starting off at $100. Every fax that comes in, I'm going to time that. The minimum requirement goes up by 2x, so the next one will be 200 quid. So if you get in there any time ahead of anybody else, you're doing an amazing deal. You're saving 50%. The sooner you get in, the more those 50% add up. So slam in those fax requests. You know it's worth it. 5. We'll look at it in a minute. Ahead of that, we've got a fax request from Tony D. He says, hello Tradespotting. Hello Tony D. Really appreciate the work you do. Thanks very much. It's absolutely amazing work. And I bring credence to the job itself. I'm bigger than the role. I'm bigger than anyone who does this shit. Despite all the success on the channel, there's been so much, hasn't there, Tony? Trading for me has been rough. It's rough for most people, Tony. Only 10% of people ever get profitable. Really hard. It's really challenging. It's the biggest fucking difficult, most challenging competition in the world. It attracts the most smartest people, those most intelligent, the most qualified, and those that are able to stomach the biggest risks. It takes an absolute warrior to succeed here, and you're going to have to murder 10 other warriors to even get profitable. That's the stats. That's the probability. It's harder than Biden securing re-election. So the question is, I have one success going on, SIRI, May 2023. I'm wondering, is it time to enter again? Jay, Cor on the Cob comes in with $100. Tradespotting, could you look at TOON? You betcha, buddy. You know the value is put out around here, you total legend. I'll get right into it any moment. In future, all fax requests have to come via the link in the description because YouTube steals 30%. Not that they're worth it, but hey, they provide a quality of service. No way is it worth a percentage fee of the quality I'm putting out there. That is a travesty. YouTube robbing us right now. Make sure you use the links in the description. Yo, Jay, fantastic work recently. He's one of my traders. He's one of my traders. Are you one of my? If you were, you'd be fucking killing it. And you're going to start killing it, aren't you? Because you're one of my traders. Alright, I'm going to click the like button on that freaking thing. Everybody should be 1 like, 2 likes. Only 2 likes. Get your likes on that. If you've only had 2 likes on that and one of them's mine, you've probably also neglected to hit the like button. And that's another tragedy, right? Bad things come in 3s, so expect another one any moment now. And we're going to go on to the chart for SIRI. This is a live show. It's amazing. Like I say, I fucking add to this shit. SIRI, NASDAQ, Is it time to enter? Well, on the weekly time frame, this is what we would call a downtrend, sir. Lower lows coming at this period of time. You could say the price action's ranging really in this long-term formation, not doing anything particularly fantastic, mostly defined by the fact that it put in a peak, it never returned to, it put in a low, failed to put in a higher high, then put in a lower low. Awful. After that, price action has returned to its previous area of resistance and not managed to break above it. We define it with that horizontal, then we'd say from the entirety of price action, this thing's managed to return to a golden pocket and no further. Is that a bullish retracement? In a downward sloping trend where you fail to break the macro high, no, it's not bullish. It's at a midpoint. It's not made up any. If it's nice, not fantastic. Looking at the weekly time frame, you can tell looking left that this is an interesting area, but it's not crucial on that weekly. Onto the daily time frame, a number of touches. Stretch it out here. A lot of volatility. Just to put that in context, you know, since March the 17th. Since March the 17th, you've had one move to the top side of 140%. That's been followed by a retracement back down again of 55%. After that 55% move down, you had another move to the top side of 66%. Subsequent to that, you've had price action fall off a cliff again, another 50%. So one of the reasons why you're not doing as well as you could be, Tony, is because you're trading assets with charts like this, right? Which are also known as a piece of shit. This is crap for trading. If you're trading it, you need to be making sure you're in exactly at the lows. You're following a really tight stop. You're only here to exploit volatility. It's not a buy and hold thing, and you want to be waiting patiently to buy it at the best possible place. Having tested so often at these horizontals and now broken through it, having faced this awful rejection on the daily time frame at what would be resistance at $7.70, this thing is now possibly heading way, way lower. On 4-hour time frame, put on this, you can see that it's got into the oversold. You know, that's typically where you would have a reaction. It's come up now and put in continuation divergence. Look at the meager, pathetic nature of price action here, Tony. Look how pathetic this is compared to what it did. It's fallen all the way down in this epic, disastrous crescendo of price action coming in here being crushed. It's like those videos on YouTube, will it blend? And or will it get squashed by this massive squashing machine? Yeah, it will. Like everything else, it's got squashed all the way down, and then when this came off, a little bit of relief. You expect the thing to expand and fill into some of that space that's around it. Now, what does it do? Pathetic. It's called pathetic. That is called pathetic, and does nothing. As it's doing that, it's showing you how hard it's trying. This is an example of how hard it's trying in order to deliver that pathetic result. It's trying with all of its fucking might. It's trying with every morsel of its being. It's doing everything it can. It's calling in every favor it's owed. It's putting every single fucking joule of energy into moving to the top side. And what's it done? Tony, it's done fuck all because it's a crap piece of shit. And this is why you're struggling, mate. What you want to be doing is going to the things that people on the Discord call out as good. They put shitloads of energy and effort in analysing these things, and they get on a really good roll. You look for those people that are succeeding. You stay close to them on the Discord. You level up, you join the team. That's how you do it, Tony. You make sure that you're focusing on the things that are going to provide you a home run. That top target, top number on that list, the one thing you wake up for every day, Rocky Outcrops Discord and the people on it, they are your savior. This thing, not it. That's not it, right? This continuation divergence, it looks like it's broken through the horizontal and the weekly. It looks like a piece of crap everywhere else, Tony. This maybe is the time if you were trying to get into at 293 and sell it at 320. Mate, there's been things that have done bigger moves than that while I was at the toilet earlier. This is crap. Don't want to be doing it, Tony. But you get in touch with me on Discord, I'll give you one for free. And now that that came in from Jay Corn the Cob, that's worth $200 to you, buddy. So you just get in touch. There you go, my friend. Everybody else, you're still on that 200 tier. I'm not going to punish you just because I'm rewarding Tony. So the next one that came in from Flasher, it was for $50 because she's a cheapskate. And so because she's such a great supporter of the channel, I'm going to glance at the chart, glance at it, an entry on 5. This is absolutely a fucking fantastic idea. You know, this is the sort of thing that's been shared on the Discord because, you know, it's a brilliant entry. It's a brilliant potential stock. What's going to happen in America is that the rates of all these commercial properties are going to go up so high because property rates are going to go up so high to service the owners of them so they can pay the money they owe back. In order to do that, they're going to be ejecting clients who can't possibly afford the rent. Those businesses are going to go tits up. Everybody's going to be upset. Then 5 are going to come in and save the day. They're going to install these shops that sell shit for less than $5 all around your neighborhood. That's going to be amazing. It's going to be brought up there. There's also going to be next door a payday loan shop. On the other side of it, there's going to be a shop that will cash your checks on the spot, give you the cash, and all they want is 33%. Bargain. Go for it, mate. What a deal. So you're looking at this thing 5. When the economy goes down, or even when it stays the same, this thing's going to get a massive blast. It's going to go back up, fill that gap at 187 towards a 206, 201. Perfectly reasonable target in that sense. You want to be getting back above 150 at this stage. 5 things I'd be looking for to enter 5. Well, I'd be on the weekly time frame. I'd be looking at it, trying to hold these areas. You definitely want to keep putting in these higher highs, higher lows. So this nature is putting a lower low there. You want bullish divergence. You've got it. You're touching the top of the bearish control zone. We'll call that 1, but it's really 2. You also want some sort of harmonic resonance to call the low. You've got there a potential D entry. You're also at the point where it would get there a little bit further and give you that entry. So there's 2 things. I'd also be looking for price action previously. What was the question, Flasher? What was the question? Whoa, she did use the right way of getting in touch though. I mean, it has to be said, there's a lot of credit there. I'm making installment payments. I hope there's not interest added. There you go, another $50 from Flasher. Absolutely killing it today. That's $200 and we've been live for about 50 seconds. We're really killing it. So, what did we want to get to though? We wanted to get to that's not that chart of, that's the chart of this show, which is absolutely fucking flying as it happens. In terms of per capita people watching, definitely top of YouTube donations right now as it speaks. I'm leading the world in another factor. So you don't want to see that. You want to be looking at 5. And you're looking for, what was the question? What was the question, Flasher? If you're waiting on an entry on 5, what would be the top 3 things you'd be looking at? Only 3 things. And I was waiting on an entry. You're not even asking for a low. So, I mean, I can give you vague, non-specific points that are just about technical analysis in general and not even refer to your chart here because of the wording of your question. I am so lucky I don't even have to do any work. Okay, so I'd be looking for price action to retrace above a 236. Then you'd be able to call that previous oscillation as a low. Then I'd compare that to a previous low, look for bullish divergence. On lower time frames, I'd want 3 touches, I'd want a reversal formation, I'd want harmonic resonance, I'd want a low risk entry so it was close to a stop, so if I knew I was wrong it wouldn't cost me a lot, and I'd be looking for a risk reward ratio that was effective and efficient when it was applied to the edge that I'd be using, which in my case is usually between 66-88% likely to work out with every trade I take because I'm fucking brilliant at this. You should be looking for the same because you yourself are amazing at calling trend. You're brilliant at watching the momentum pick up and turn around, and so I'd be looking at that kind of aspect to it. Because the trend you're looking for to evolve would be an upside trend, I'd be cautious if there was reversal divergence pulling it down, but I'd look for continuation divergence, hidden divergence to confirm the move to the top side. That would be a confirmation, 3rd confirmation likely of that uptrend, and at that point I'd be committed to this thing because I think it's going to go to the top side. I'd have my stop, like I say, close to my entry. When that entry moved beyond a significant point, say 8 to 10% minimum, or beyond a previous level of resistance on an important time frame. The lowest where that gets important is the 1 hour, but you'd be looking for it preferably on the 4. I'd want to see price action back above there, back above a 236, putting in potential reversal divergence, but using it as a confirmation as and when I got the continuation divergence. I'd be looking for a tight risk reward, and as soon as it went beyond that point where I got the confirmation for the 3rd time, I'd put my stop at my entry, and then I'd be watching price action break above every high. As soon as it went on a new one, I'd put my stop loss back beyond the previous pullback low. I'd add on the ATR, and I'd never get stopped out that trade because this thing probably going up to 262. Fuck it, right? Maybe it goes all the way to $385. It's currently trading at what you trading at? 146. That's pretty good. Maybe 100% move on this thing. Why would that happen? It's already doing this. It's already doing this. Always does this. Goes up like that. That's the weekly time frame. It's got that harmonic. It's really great. Here's the daily time frame. You've got your bullish divergence there. You've got reversal divergence on the last leg. You're in this price action here. If you were talking about this thing going sideways, right, in and around there, that's probably grand. 1.1 free extension. If it gets there, it's broken above previous highs. It's outside this sideways price action. Absolutely huge opportunity there. Everybody loves this thing, so I think that's the answer for Flasher. Because you were so generous and you're one of the first 10 people to subscribe to these new donation levels, as generous as I am setting them there for you, I could have left it a mystery, but I was very clear and specific. And on that, I am due more credit still. Because you're in the top 10, Flasher, I'm going to keep an eye on this thing for, at the very least, the next month. I'll give you feedback on it every time you show up, and you just need to tick in the ticker in the chat box. I'll see it and I'll give it a quick look at the chart. So we're going to keep our eyes on this one, probably because it's going to be amazing. It's had earnings that weren't fantastic a couple of times, but it's very rare. Usually they're amazing because people love shit that costs less than a $5. You won't find it on this shop, but it's very good. On that note, I've launched a new t-shirt on unreasonable.shop. It's called the Tidy Tee. It costs only $100 and you can get yours today, right now, if you go to the shop and buy one, which is what you should be doing because other people have them tomorrow, and then sooner or later it'll be old, passé, and you'll be an idiot. You'll still have to get it though because you're one of the team. So go now, get it now. Good job. Good on you. That's what you should be. Obviously, if you're struggling, rent's a thing and all the rest of it, don't be doing that. I'll level you up and then you'll find these figures also to be insignificant, because they are, right? Somebody pointed out earlier that that minimum donation level, that's only the price of 1.5 Big Macs in America, right? 1.5 Big Macs. It's $65 now for a Big Mac. That's before you get chips, before you get a drink, before you go large. Right, and everybody here should be going large, right? So that's what we're talking about. Thanks, Tradespotting, you're the best. I am the best. I'm so good. I'm so good. That's why the donation levels are now at, what is it, $200? $200 for a fax request. You're right, they're absolutely massive. I must be the best or I wouldn't be able to charge that. Minner, $180. MSCI, please. And $20, Bing Bong. You betcha. And $5 earlier, Bing Bong. That's $205, Minner. That's $5 over the. That means that the next donation is going to have to be $410 if you want to get anything answered. I'll get on to that in 2 seconds because Jay Corn the Cobb Super Chat at $100. Is it Australian? You got sneaked in there with $100 Australian dollars. It is dollars and I didn't specify, so that's on me. In future, remember guys, it's US dollars. Right, okay, so inflation. It's mental, isn't it? That's because, Jerome has to do what Biden says, cut at least once, probably twice, before November, and then start printing, because what's the difference, right? It doesn't matter who does it. If Biden doesn't do it, and Trump gets in, Trump will do it, right? And if you think they aren't going to do it, well, you should check the statistics of presidents who've printed money. You should check it out. Look at the ratio. How many times has a president got elected and printed money? Look that up. Then look up the ones who haven't and see what happened to them. Did they get shot in the head? Did they? Right? And you'll find a surprising statistic there. So, Space Cadet, 29 months. Soldier, don't want TA, but what are your thoughts on the BBBY bonds being rescheduled to paid? Ichan and Cohen probably are cooking something up. You're worth $100 soon for 29 months. Thank you very much. So, what do I think? I think you're a soldier. I think that's big credit to you, my friend. As a soldier, I can't do the TA, I can't look at the charts, but I can give you a really harsh, properly intense, verging on offensive, certainly hurtful response to your question. And that is that Cohen and Ichan are doing very little. They're doing very little. They're not very productive people as measured over the last 18 months, 24 months. They're not very productive. So the chances are they're not doing that much. What are my thoughts on the BBY bonds being rescheduled to paid? Yeah, it's level 6. Your relative priority as a creditor on those level 6 bonds being upgraded. Fantastic news. My thoughts are, it's not a docket, right? Has the judge ruled on it yet? If so, is there the money there to service that liability? Because it's hundreds of billions, right? Or 100 billions. So if that's true, my thoughts are, well, show me the money, right? Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money, right? Show me the money! That's my response to that. Show me the money, right? The bonds are rescheduled. It's on a docket. Is the judge approving it? If he is, or she is the plan administrator going to be taking a chunk for themselves? Is Kroll and Co going to be taking a big chunk of that, 10%, 20% off the top? Is everybody else in that shareholder return and the bondholders, are they going to be squeezed for Kroll's share, or while theirs itself doesn't manage to, it's not serviceable by those assets on hand? Who is the creditor for these bonds? So that's the question. I have been priced out of Tradespotting TA market just when I decided to dedicate myself to learning. The gravy trade is over. Jen, you're a mod and you're on the Discord and you're a total legend and you're not priced out. You're still in the game, big time. There's a discount ratio applied to your fax request. You only know what it is when it comes in, but guaranteed you're all right. You're definitely getting covered there. Don't worry about it, Jen. It's sound. Nice to see you. You associate you. Great. So, Tradespotting, true. Someone's got to do it, lol. Yes, it's you guys and me, and that's the case. Right, so we've got to have a harsh take on things here because it's got to keep safe in your money and whatever, right? So, the best thing that I can comment on there is those people who took advantage of that opportunity in BBBY, using those bonds, they did it likely not with the entirety of their capital, and they did it at a point which didn't leave them with extreme opportunity cost, i.e. that capital wasn't tied down while other things were flying around. Loads of time in the trade, no much movement. That didn't happen. The people on this Discord who were invested in that particular instrument for that ticker, a lot of them did it in around the correct time, the better time. Their cost of trade was very low and they're maybe going to make out with something now, which is really, really good. And I'm so fucking happy for them. That's the way to look at that. It's that low time in the trade, low time in the trade, right? That will be touching back on the fact, I opened to answer with, Ryan Cohen Ichan, they've not done fuck all for 24 months. Literally, they've done nothing for 24 months apart from, they've done nothing, man. Why? They've done nothing. Hey, I work so hard, and Ryan Cohen used to talk so hard about how people should work, but he betrays his own tweets with what was demonstrated into, he doesn't work to be seen to be working, and he asks other people to be seen to be working, and that's not leading by example, right? So if someone isn't leading by example, that means that there's other people in front of them, and it's you guys are in charge of what happens to these stocks. It's yous that drive them, right? And let's be honest, Bed Bath & Beyond and Ryan Cohen's involvement in it has led to legal cases against him. It's unquestionable that he has acted unethically and he has cost genuine retail investors who didn't have the nuance to follow this channel. Idiots like that twat Jackie Letitz, people like them put tens of thousands of their family's money into that and then got shattered, destroyed their interpersonal relationships, broke down their family relationships, completely ruined other people's lives with their irresponsible behavior. Total fannies, top of the tree fannies. That's the sort of people, who believed in that narrative. Someone else is going to save me. Somebody else will come along and make my investments worthwhile. Somebody will be acting in many and mysterious ways to make the value of my investments go up. That doesn't happen. That never happens. The value of these investments only goes up when there's buying pressure, more people buying than selling. We can ourselves demonstrate and attest to the fact that shares are fungible. It doesn't matter how many there are in any given location at any given time. What matters is the amount of people that want to buy them versus the amount of people that want to sell them, and that has to be a continuing strength. It has to be self-reinforcing. That narrative has to drive liquidity into the stock and push it up. All stocks suffer under the gravity of their own weighting because being listed on the stock market is putting yourself in the fucking boiling pot. You're there to raise money and your job is to return value to shareholders and you're on the fucking clock. That's why you're in the public markets. If you don't fucking match up, you fuck off as a company, just like the tens of thousands of traders you'll take down with you. And that's why good executives don't make fuck all difference. You need to be exceptional. And included in being exceptional is being seen to work as well as working. So come out here and prove me wrong. Come out here and prove me wrong, executives. Big boots, all you do, your huge bags. Where are you guys pushing it? Where are insiders selling the stock at these lows? Those people who we've been told, I believe, people should work for it. People should do it. We've been hearing this narrative for ages. And where are we seeing the fruits of our labor? Where are they? In other stocks, aren't they? The only way that you can take advantage of those moves on BBBY or other similarly positioned assets is by being a speculator born and bred, getting right into the trading of assets. What's the difference between a trader and an investor? None of the shit you'll read in these books. None of the crap they'll tell you to your face. I'll tell you right now. An investor buys things. A trader sells things. If you only ever buy or your frequency of selling is low, you're not a trader. If you are a trader, you're not a good one. You need to take profits on the regular, build up your capital and get rich. Unless you're going to launch a startup and then spunk all your money away on shitty investments and then tell everybody else to do the work and claim that you're not taking a salary and that somehow absolves you of putting in the effort or takes your attachment in association with the share price and separates them. Not true. Especially if at the same time you create this mechanism for investing in the company whereby you're allowed to trade equity shares and convertibles, bonds, warrants. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to do it with your own money alongside the company's capital investments, thereby boosting the value of your own money that you held outside the company, having people who invest in GameStop and other shares then also piling into those assets, boosting the value of them and providing you an exit, a get-out clause, all your money back, and none of the work had to be done. And you then can slowly and surely recoup any investment you put into that original company. And you can step aside, absolved of any need to do any work or effort, and just sit there hoping that somebody else also, bails you out with their sweat and blood and the hard work off of their back. You could also do that, right? So that's the way it is. And if you want to hear any more about that, get in touch. The link's below. It's $400 and I'll continue that conversation until I'm blue in the fucking face. By the time I am, I'll have more money than these people we're talking about because I take profit, do work, do more work, take more profit and build up a team of traders who themselves are going to change the fucking world. And it won't be by sitting on their hands talking shit. It'll be by actually taking action in the markets. A time at the market makes a big fucking difference. You've had years and years. I've been doing this show every single day for years. And I've called hundreds of moves, literally hundreds, that have made more than 100% move. You only needed to start with 1,000 and follow 9 of them to be a millionaire. You could have followed 9 subsequently and been a billionaire. And I'm telling you, I've given you hundreds. They're all on my show and you can go and check them out. You yourselves know it's true because everybody watching right now has seen at least 18. And so if you started with $1,000, you could have $1 billion right now if you'd really put your trust in me. So you can see why the prices are going up. And it's perfectly reasonable, isn't it? You let me know with a yes in the chat box. Or if you don't agree with me, go across to my subreddit, r/Tradespotting, and post something in there so that I can click on your post history and then ridicule you for being a fucking stupid loser with your past post history and all the stupid shit you've said. Even though all you've had to do is write stuff and you could have edited it and made yourself look good in retrospect. But I am out here doing these live shows and do not need to be censored because I am a good man and I do believe in the people who do good things and I know my actions are right. So I act on behalf of other people and I try to make a positive difference in the world. And you can go and check my post history on Reddit and see it's fucking interstellar. It's brilliant. You can take a walk around my real life and see the fucking flowers bloom as I walk past and hear the song coming down from the clouds, playing a fucking special theme tune and the beat of every step. Because real people do real good and make a real fucking difference. Let's say your shit if you got a problem. Write on something on my subreddit and let me see who you are as a person. Anybody who watching this show's got any fucking problem, let's fucking go, you chub. Alright, we got another fax request. And we gotta get to those that have been in already. King of Farce, aka Sapples, $5. Let him cook, get him. Cheers, Sapple, how's it going? Jake, 20 months. Tradespotting legend, you should probably take the course and join Discord. You probably should. Tennessee, Texan, how's it going? Great to see you, Tennessee. You know I'll look at stuff for you. I love listening to this. I love you too, Jay. You're a total legend. You've been totally killing it on the markets, and that is not going to stop, my friend. Space Cadet, thanks very much for that message. It's really good to get some answers in to address these hot topics. I know that there's a big event going on right now for BBBY investors. I think that community is absurd. that they didn't follow me after my TA on it blew their socks off and made people literally millions of dollars who were later in the paper talking about how they'd made millions on option contracts, referencing somebody they watched on YouTube. Who do you think that was? You go and check the history of the videos. Like I said, you were there at the time. You probably noticed. BMJ, good chat. You're damn freaking right. It's a brilliant chat. 11 months. Thanks very much. J. Corn the Cob, 23 months. Total legend. So the next question that we got to came in and it managed to qualify there was it was J. Corn the Cob, wasn't it? Please look at entry for TOON. TOON, here it is then, coming up now. Exciting news. TOON, Cartoon Studios, reckons themselves as a challenger to Disney. They don't have the huge growth potential that Disney have. Disney, growth potential. How is that? Well, for very, very little effort, they can take all of their assets, and the digital assets that Disney own are immense. They're literally priceless, many of their copyrights. They're going to be able to put all of those digital assets into the multiverse, whatever manifestation is the most profitable one, will include Disney. And they'll be licensing those out like no man's business. Their marginal contribution, the cost basis for that new revenue stream will be sweet fuck all. And the return on investment will be insanely huge. It's a massive margin and it's brilliant for Disney and it's something to look to in Disney's future. Despite what your politics might be, and if that in politics interferes with your investment, then holy fuck, they've really got you by the balls. For a start, their ideological position is completely contradictory. The two parties stand for exactly the same thing. Their name literally means the same thing. The leaders are the same age. They're both the age of 400 other people. And neither of them are actually going to be able to deliver the kind of change you want, regardless of what side of the spectrum you're on. So if you're committing your funds to investments as determined by these ideologies, holy shit, you're going to lose so much fucking money. That's insane. Before you do that, before you jump off that financial cliff, get involved in this show more. Join the Discord. It might be the only thing that can save you, though you will get pummeled with bringing your political nonsense into that realm, because the only person allowed to talk about politics on that Discord is me, because I'm the only one that understands it, and Cece. And if you don't know who that is, more fool you, right? So price action 2, going through this potential wedge, then it broke down, went into this channel, left this gap behind it. If it manages to get back into that top formation, it'll go through a period of displacement. That's manifested in another further expression of the liquidity, and that's defined by this measured move that'll take it back up to 280. Possibly it breaks that level and goes all the way to 3.19. That would be on a huge move. For reasons why, well, it's dropped back down here. You've got this bullish divergence. That's the daily time frame, but you can see there's a line underneath price action there. What is that, Sputter? Well, this long-term one, I think we'll find it on the 4-hour. Yes, there it is. So you've got price action coming in here, and it broke this diagonal. Okay, you're about to get fucking top quality tips here. This was a brilliant fax request, Jay. Not because of this asset itself, a little bit shit recently. It's because you've got me in this moment able to deliver this message to you. You lucky sod you. Right, so price action on TOON. It went through what is a terrible drop down here. At this point, you got a touch of harmonic resonance. You got a W. You got price action putting in then a change in trend. And that change can be defined by a higher high and a higher low. So it either comes in here with a higher low or here with a higher high. Now, I watched that moron, that stupid moron, that complete fool, that lemming of a man, that melted-faced loser, that absolute chump, more mattress rants, say that GameStop was in a pennant. When it breaks to the top side, it'll go to $600, and that's just the way TA works. Now, there has been fairly few stupider comments in the entirety of Earth's history. The amazing fact is that a number of others in the top 10 also came out of that guy's mouth. No joke, serious, also true. You can check these facts yourself. Now, he said that because he's one of the world's stupidest human beings. Rumor has it. I don't know any of the truth of any of these things. There are other people's opinions which I may or may not ascribe to. But you yourself know the truth, right? It rings true in these words, doesn't it? Unbelievably stupid. Unbelievably. Anyone who watches me and watches him, feel free to fuck off and watch him some more and not come back here. You, by your general presence, bring the average intelligence down astronomically. You're so offensive in your presence that nobody here wants you here. Go away, never come back. It's so embarrassing and you smell bad. Don't be here anymore. It's disgusting. Okay, so, and anyone else that's even remotely like the guy or associates with him, they're included in it and it's a zero tolerance. That's the answer, right? Total loser. And the truth is, the guy's got extreme politics that he brings in every single asset. It's disgusting, it's off-putting, and it really does bring the truth to the lack of effort, right? These extremist people with their extremist policies and their really weird ideologies, every single one of them, without exclusion, is lazy. They pretend to be good and hardworking because they themselves have somehow graduated to a position where they don't have to do anything, but that will not last forever, and they are the problem with the world's productivity crisis. That and their general lack of IQ, which they somehow managed to suplex up their own arse at some point in their life, probably because they themselves, like Mattress Rants, got completely wiped out on the vast majority of his money in Doge, selling it at the low and buying it at the high. Now, would you follow that guy into meme stocks? If you would, please keep your distance from my traders. I do not want them affected by that level of stupidity. So we're looking at TOON here, and we're saying, is this a good investment relative to Disney? Well, long term, maybe not. Short term, maybe so. You're looking for price action to move back into this wedge and then move to the top side. It is going to be like the likelihood and the probability was that it broke to the downside because of the gap. You've now left with this huge opportunity to the top side. That would take you back into a formation itself, was putting in a tightening wedge, which was leading to this breakdown underneath. That breakdown expressed by this potential liquidity. Maybe you take it like this, drop this guy on the top and say, if it is going to break down some more, it'll go to the 1.13, and that's in at around 0.855. Maybe that's where you want it. It's in a downtrend, it's been a downtrend for a long time, and it could then go into the 1618, and you could find it at 0.61. And that would be why you have to be very careful with position sizing. You have to use very tight stops, and you have to be very, very, very cognizant of the potential for it to fall in your first analysis, so that you can make the best use of your risk management to exploit any potential move to the top side, or be aware of the potential for it to break down, understand where the support level is and where it'll then go if that breaks, so that you can take a short trade should it need to be. Or you could use various instruments to manage your position, and this thing would allow for that. So if you want any more news on that, another fax request, and again at this point it's $400, so 420 I think. Sorry for my lapse there, 420. So what you're going to get at this stage is the interesting nature of price action is that there's been a change in sequence, and that has been the fact that here's been putting in tests of these highs, higher lows, and that's contrary to the previous trend, which was of course a downtrend with lower highs and lower lows. So there's this change. This change has come at the same time, as you can see on the charts there, a W, right? You see that W? Right, there it is. It's also drawn out for you in green, yellow, and red all over here. W, lower highs, higher lows, trend changes, higher highs, higher lows, different phase, different sequence and price action. So something's changed. You've got a W bottom. That's potentially the start of a reversal formation. This thing comes off the back of some harmonic resonance, so we could see a slightly lower dip. At that point, we're looking for either an 886 or a double bottom or a 1.13. All of those fails, it's a 1618 because it's already going down. It's failed to break back up again when it gave you half an opportunity, so it's not going to stop at the 1.14. So you've got your extreme target if it breaks down. You've got your specific levels for entries at your 886, 0.994 if it doesn't hold here, which you're like, why is it going to? Then you've got 1.13, that's at 0.885, and then you've got the 1618 at 0.63, and there'll be the three entries that it probably goes to if it breaks down. If it breaks to the top side, you've got a gap where that'll probably close straight away because the liquidity in this zone very low, and if it does break it, the bottom part at 1.16, you'll also be breaking back above the prior low in price action when it was in this sequence. So that would be significant and would suggest that you would get later displacement. You'd be back then inside a broadening, a tightening wedge, itself a reversal formation, price action failing to break down, getting to the fake out point, that's the prior low but no further, retracing back into that formation, and then expressing the entire liquidity of that formation, which you can see is this red line. Why is it that size? Because that size is also the same size that this thing expressed when it fell into this formation in the first instance. If it does break down, you could look at that and say that's also in around the 1618. If it breaks back into that formation, you're going to make a move to the top side and you'll be seeing it at 270 or 320. The move might then be when price makes its way back inside this gap and or closes that gap to the top side and returns to this previous formation. And those artifacts that I've drawn on this chart are available for everybody who signs up to my Patreon, which is currently a fucking steal at $100 or 100. It better be 120. Or I'm going to sign off this show immediately and put it up to $500 a month, because it's exactly what it fucking should be. Holy shit, I'm getting ripped off right as I speak. As the seconds pass by, I can't hardly believe it. Look at this. This is what might happen if it breaks the top side. Really exciting. If it breaks down, you've got the same exciting moves. Percentage, they're easily exploitable. You're a trader, you can handle it. If it is that you want other tips about instruments, like I say, Discord, the place to be. So price action here, different. Phase of market change. Sequence different. Higher lows, higher highs. Previously, lower highs, lower lows. So previous to these green lines, this price action is distinctly different from this price action in its phase. And that's defined by the higher lows and lower highs. That's Dow theory with Tradespotting theory put on top, because, well, I'm better. If I'd have been back around in those days, Dow and Jones, that lovely first, one of the very America's first, they broke so many barriers down with their relationship, those two men. Really changed the world. So, and had I been around back then, you know, the world would be so much better by now. So price action, very different phase, very different phase. What happens at this W bottom, right? Well, you tend to get these W bottoms after the harmonic resonance followed by 3 rising valleys. You've got 1, 2 higher lows, 3 higher lows. That's 3 rising valleys. Price action then broke down, went to a 1.13 or an 886, so 886 or 1.13. Then you'd get a likely reversal. If it doesn't hold those, it's going to the 1618. That's what happens. The probability of that happening is extremely, extremely high. If it breaks back to the top side, then it's displacement. It's going through that liquidity area and it's going to the top side. The probability of that is extremely, extremely high. What happens in these scenarios? Well, you get your 3 rising valleys, you get that retracement. That retracement is a O move. Subsequent to it, price action breaks back up again. This break back up, if it does make a bullish move, will find resistance not within this formation, but looking left at these prior highs. This is an important resistance point. Here it'll put in another W, where the low of which is a test of the previous support. That's over here. And then it'll bounce to the top side again. That'll look like a W with the nature of the move. It may then come down, test here again. Very frequently does. More often than not, it just breaks to the top side again, and that's where you get your full expression of the W. And that's why I'm really well known for what is called the wow signal. It was spotted 70 years ago in the background radiation. It was at that point we knew there was another intelligence around. We dismissed it as an anomaly, and I'm here to tell you that it's not a fucking anomaly. It's the way it is now. I'm in charge. The way I've been trading, the things that are coming in future, there'll have to be somebody trying to assassinate me, or I'll be taking over. The maths are fucking simple. It's not just the devil of donations, it's not just the cost of t-shirts, nor is it the value of the Patreon. It's me and the fucking shit I do here in Trader HQ. It's amazing, and I do it at the most efficient pace possible while leading a team to change the fucking planet. You can be part of it, and not a word of that is a fucking exaggeration. So this is the wow signal. It comes at the best reversals in price action. We've seen it on other stocks that I've called and people have copied to build a career of their pathetic life. You know, read Jackie Letitz's Root, BBBY, Carvana, fucking GameStop. Every single thing that's ever come out of his mouth, he plucked from my rubbish bin as he scooped through it, looking for pennies late in the evening, long after he was kicked out the neighbourhood. Disgusting, greedy loser. Apparently, again, these are other people's opinions, which I may or may not ascribe to. I don't like to spread rumour and innuendo. I would never engage in that type of thing unless there was a likely high probability of it being true. No, not that I would know for sure, but I do suspect so. And he's a loser thief apparently. So that's the way it goes. And you're looking for a wow signal at the bottom there, Jay. You want to go back up to 320. The entry is either when it breaks back into that gap or it moves higher. If you're determined to be long, that's the best way to exploit that move based on the artifacts that the chart has given us. If you're looking to go short, it's breaking those areas of support and using those fib extensions as your targets. But the chances are you're onto something interesting here. Has held the top of that bearish control zone. It's managed to break through the diagonal momentum that you might have been looking at here and saying on the daily time frame you would have been looking at this, hoping for a bounce, didn't get one. On the 4-hour time frame you did have this and you've managed to hold it, but despite holding the angular momentum, you haven't managed to hold that on price action itself with this breakdown out of the wedge. As I turn it off, you can see. And that nature of that move is why you also have a gap. Of course, it happened when the markets were closed. As such, there is a gap. But that happened subsequent to the break of that diagonal on daily, and it came in to test that diagonal then on the momentum 4-hour, having broken it on the price action. So you can see then that there's an important level that price will need to break through. It's this red line, and that will likely lead to a touch of resistance. Breaking back above that box and breaking into that box are two distinctly different things, and that's why you could use either or as an entry. You can also use the immediate area as you approach it just below your entry as a stop. Fantastic, isn't it fantastic? Right, now MSCI, was it? It may well have been. Let's get across the Minners, check it in. What was it really? MSCI. It is. Bing bong, Minner, you total legend. I absolutely love you, my friend. Charney Flasher, got you there. Installment payments. This is what it's like. Now I know why you were interested in 5. It's tough at the top, isn't it, Flasher? Oh my God, so many bills, so many responsibilities, so much change to make. I know, I'm right there with you. In the freaking heart of it. So yeah, installments, that's the way it is. We all live, you know, week to week, right? You're 1 week away from being homeless. 1 week, that's it, guys. You're 1 week away from being homeless. Something like 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. I mean, I'm saying 70 because I'm making up figures. I should just make up 170%. That's way more dramatic percentage. 170% of Americans. Now, wait a minute. I sound like Mattress Rants now. Yeah, but fuck it. 170% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, which basically used to be called hand to mouth, right? Hand to mouth. It's appropriate expression with people like Mattress Rants, you know, like just sitting there with their knuckles in their down their throat, you know. This is quite common, you know. You see them, like sitting on park benches, and trying to get their whole hand in their mouth. That's like their hobby. He does that regularly, apparently, right? Apparently. So, hey, everybody in the chat box, it's great to see you. Hit that like button. So, unless you're friends with that loser, then see you later. Thanks very much. So, we're looking at this chart, and I don't know if it's the right one. Is it the right one? Why have I no drawings on this? That's so unusual that I would not have drawings. Spotter, why don't you have drawings? I'm going to go back up to the monthly and do some drawings on this guy. Well, that's a huge move. Yeah, so it's been very strong. That being said, price action hasn't done very much since October 2022. Sideways, huh? Sideways suits you, sir. Momentum, absolutely awful. Losing the center line there. Hasn't done that since back in August 2012. Shocking. Or is that 2011? Who knows? It was so long ago now. Does 1 extra year make a difference? That's what she said, right? That's what she said. So distinct differences on price action then. Came in here, and obviously at this point. Now, at this point, you lost the center line RSI, put in a lower low on the momentum indicator. Clearly, you didn't go anywhere near your lows on price action, and so that's called continuation divergence. Price action went to the top side. That's the TA works. It's just going to happen, right? The TA doesn't work like that. I mean, it's just going to happen. There's nothing that means like this is just going to happen. There might be a fidelity to your facts, and there might be a long history of success. It might lead to a strong probability, but that doesn't mean things are going to happen. Anyone saying that is literally writing their own, I'm a stupid person. I'm really stupid. Right, and that doesn't work. TA doesn't work like that, right? So definitely don't take his word for it. Previously, the Mattress Rant guy, he was so sad in his comment when I was giving it, like, telling him like it is. He said something along the lines of, "Stop bullying me. I never ever claim to do technical analysis. It's not bullying, it's just telling someone who's stupid they're stupid, right? If they are also really self-involved and can't think about anything in the world other than themselves, they'll think that that's a bullying. It's not bullying them. Right enough, it might seem like an attack, and it might seem like your approach vector is their stupidity, but it's not bullying, it's just pointing out a fact, especially when that person's, claims to be credible when in fact they're just a loser costing people loads of money. Like I say, this is other people's opinions. I don't know if I subscribe to them or not, but they're out there. So you're looking at this thing on a monthly time frame from the lows to the highs. Probably take that across the top of it. It's a Fibonacci channel. He's never heard of these sort of things. Loser. There's your 236. It's touched that once. If it did come down, probably gets into it again. If you were to take this, let's go from this low and say that's an oscillation high, failing to do anything there. 1618 doesn't really match up. You've not got that resonance you would have liked. If we take it from this impulsive move here, you get a study of confluence on the go. Your 236 coming in between two important Fibonacci's, your golden pocket matching up there with the 886, and if it was to break down, come back to previous formation high. I mean, maybe it happens one day. Drop that on top of it and say, if it gets down at really bad, awful, disgusting levels, that'll be where it goes. So on the monthly time frame, looking at the RSI, putting that in context, it's awful, but putting it in context, it's been awful before and it wasn't the end of the world, so that might be also the case here. On the weekly time frame, lots of oscillations and sideways price action, and also draw a trend line under this guy and say it's broken, right? It's broken, Tradespotting. 3 touches, more or less. Wicked below, held it so far, could be an opportunity. RSI, bearish control zone, could turn around, but I don't like to argue with it there. If it pulled its head above, maybe I'd be interested, but I'd need to check. I'd zoom in, and I'd look at it and I'd say, is this guy, if he pops his head out here, I'd say, is he waving at me? Is this him waving? Hi, spotter, hi. Or is he drowning, right? Is he drowning? And you know how people are drowning, right? They're awful like divergence. Like they'll drown once, they'll come back up, but they've already took in too much of that water. And they'll be like, blah, blah, help me, blah, 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 right? You see when people are drowning, it's so embarrassing. And the blah, 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 help me, they can't even speak properly. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, ugh, there's another one. And then they'll go down again, and they take in more water, they get heavier, you know, their buoyancy drops. They're even more likely to go down like a stone the next time. But they come up, and they're like, Tradespotting, blah, 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 Tradespotting, save me, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, wait a minute, who is that? What was that? I'm busy, you know, I'm busy. And then they go down again, and that's like blah 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 blah, and then they're in, like they're down here somewhere, like in the oversold, like down here with the fishies, down at the bottom. Oh, at the bottom of the sea. Oh no, right down here. That's where they live after that, forever, forever. They never come visit you, you know. And you're like, what? He was annoying me that time, and then he just disappeared. Like, anywho, that's what it is, right? You're looking at this awful place where it could go to. But then that's really low, and price action isn't at these, you know, like I'll go back here. This is really low. It's at these previous lows here. Price action, it's not at these previous lows. The equivalent, it's not at the equivalent place on the x-axis that we found. The momentum, right? It's not, which means that the effort to push it down there is taking a lot more effort, and it's not getting as far. So maybe there is like some buoyancy, and we need to let it come back up again before we try and drown it again. I say we. I'm not trying to drown it, I'm just not getting involved in saving it, right? Because I've got good shoes on or whatever, right? Who wants to get involved in that? So, right, you've got this break in the diagonal, oh, nightmare, and then you've got this thing at the top side, right? And you might say to yourself, it looks more or less like a channel. I'm not going to argue with you about that, right? It has broken it a number of times, come back out of it. But, you know, for the purposes of illustration, it's perfectly good. Price action still within that then. Still within that splitter. Does that mean it's moving up? You've got the bullish divergence. It could just move back up. I wouldn't be looking for it to go back above 656 from here. It could just keep doing that for a while. The area it needs to break is here, right? And I don't need to draw those messy lines on. I can use these lovely, straight, handy ones. There's your horizontal ray from that area. It's Alt-J, right? And I'm at JME. If you're ever looking for a quick way to Tradespotting on YouTube, yes, they crowned me with those 3 letters. Is all it needs to find Tradespotting. JME. Not a coincidence. So you're looking at that and you're saying, Tradespotting, that's a nice right angle. You know, you build your house around that. You certainly could. They didn't build mine around that. Everything's a bit wonky. A little more so now. So you're looking at this thing, right? Yeah, wonky wonk, and the 236 and the retracement, and you can drop that in and say that would be a very fine area to look for potential price support should it break below these previous lows. And if I'm to put this on and take this to the previous high, see if that matches up. Doesn't actually match up with any Fibonacci, so had it done, I maybe put more credence on that level with these current highs being as they are. Haven't seen it yet. If instead, you know, you're looking at this low and a speculative high that hasn't happened yet comes in equal that previous high, right? Then you'd be looking at a 1.13 being very, very close to that 236. Maybe there would be another element in your study of confluence that bring you closer to the truth of future price action, but maybe not. You want to see this channel hold. You haven't got continuation divergence to the top side, but you do have it being rejected from the bullish control zone a number of times. 3 strong clean rejections likely lead to a test below. In terms of momentum, that means breaking the center line. There's another huge tip for you. And then coming down, taking the top side of the bearish control zone. So that's interesting. Daily time frame still within here. You've got interesting, a gap to the top side. Oh my goodness gracious me. So a gap. What? So a gap. And in this gap, if you should recover it, you will then have gone back above a 236. Recovering back above a 236 would confirm this as a local low. Then you'd be able to use that as bullish divergence. The look back period to the previous lows that are actually lower than it when price wasn't. Interesting. That's quite far away. Still, it holds true that momentum that got it here is very much expired, and it'll need to be a new wave that pushes it down. Price action itself has recovered back above a previous high, which suggests continuation divergence, and this might be a bear flag. You've also got pulling back above the bearish control zone, giving it the chance to fall in again, burn off any potential divergence, put in a new round, and then lose support here. Doesn't necessarily need to recover afterwards, could just completely fall down again, like that thing that we were trying to drown earlier. This could be doing it as well. Your boy down there, he isn't waving then in that case. So this is the question, is this actually breaking down or moving up? The answer isn't all that important, because that's not how you answer that as a trader, because there's no objective there other than to have a discussion. And if we're having a discussion, I've got another point of discussion that we should be talking about, something far more interesting, and it's about you. But we're not going to do that because you haven't submitted a fax request, you lazy. You're not working hard or something. What's going on? So I know, hand to mouth, I understand. Right, so this wedge, no, channel, yes. Price action break above a 236 is back in a gap. That's a low liquidity zone. If you manage to recover that, you'll be going back above a 382. If you get back above a 236 and a 382, I think you can discount the problem with the continuation divergence to the downside now and look at this moving on up again to the top side. A golden pocket retracement, be a lower high, wouldn't be out of the question. 50%, that would be where you aim for at 523. The risk profile on this thing changes at 523, so I'm going to drop a horizontal ray in there, and if it moves down, well, it moves down, right? You could drop a horizontal in here. Do you need that? This has been rising, so I don't think you do. Daily time frame, your momentum at these sort of areas, I mean, let's just check it out. That's right at the bottom of the bearish control zone. Didn't get there before. On the daily time frame, if it does, since this sequence of price action, that's always been a buy. Is it a buy now? Possibly. We'll see. You likely have a reaction. So within this channel, it's interesting. 4-hour time frame. Have we got this rocky outcrop flash? We should, and then our fibs are drawn for us with the RO Toolkit. It's so good, now I can just turn off drawings and all the work is done for me. Into the momentum, lower highs, lower lows. Let's come back up, test this trend line. And here you've got that same phenomena on the cards again. You've got a downward sloping trend line on momentum. Should that be broken, you'd be looking for the same angular move on price action to be expressed. That would be a test of that downward sloping diagonal here, covering the same period of price action, would mean that it's coming in at this angle. And then you can see that this is a test of that horizontal top side 50% retracement. That's very interesting now. We don't need this fib because Rocky's done the hard work for us. Get that indicator at Rocky's Patreon. If you aren't on his, that's like a good way of walking around telling everybody you don't care about your own future, in which case men or women that meet you are not going to want to go out with you. They're not going to want to associate with you because you don't care about your future. How could you be expected to build and care for theirs? That would be absurd, right? So, you know, you've got to be subscribed to Rocky's Patreon, get these indicators and make the most of your trading experience. So this gap, if it breaks, or closes, will involve a test of a 50% retracement. If it happens before the 20th of May, then you'll be looking at holding this diagonal resistance line. I wouldn't expect it to break on the first pass. I think it'd likely come back and find support. Support being this level here also forms a higher low, and it would be the 236. And at this point, you're at the apex of that tightening formation where everybody else will also be able to see it. Price will be going round the corner quite smoothly in second gear, because that's how you go round a corner efficiently. It'll be targeting the apex and pulling out of it as it puts the foot down on the accelerator, because that's how you speed up efficiently. And so it'll be picking up momentum on this low turn as opposed to this high move, right? Which will, on its first pass, see a rejection. Because this is the way TO works. No, that's not the way TO works. I'm speaking in terms of probabilities. Oh my god, like seriously, does so much damage because stupid people just buy that crap. They tune out to what I'm saying unless I deliver it with bombastic enthusiasm, because hard, cold facts, they don't attract somebody who's been desensitized by extreme political ideology. And that's where a lot of people in GameStop came from, which is why they make allowances for these people that run the company that should be doing more. It's unquestionable, it's undeniable that they should have been doing more, right? Like, I haven't seen them tweet any of my videos. I haven't seen that happen yet. It's absurd, right? That's a true absurd statement, and we all agree, don't we? Hit the like button. See Lisa sharing the link to Rocky Outcrop's Patreon. She's fucking Lisa. It's amazing. You know, this YouTube show is worth those donations because I have Lisa here, and her alone, that contribution alone, she is worth $1,000 an episode. It is. And if you were to add that up, I don't do a show every single day of the year. I do one every single day the market's open. So it's not even 365 days. So this show, which is clearly worth millions, isn't generating millions. And it would need to be generating millions within a couple of years to be valued at that level, because, you know, companies' revenue over a couple of years, that should be approximate to their market cap, unless they have a growth narrative. That growth narrative is off the back of hard work. We want to see the hard work because that's what you invest in, people and ideas. It's later on, when these ideas and plans are realized, that you can sell that for a profit, because you, as a trader, are a speculator. So you understand the components of that process. They don't even have to be successful. They just have to try, which is why when they don't try, you're perfectly within your rights to say, that's not cool. It wasn't cool when Ryan Cohen and GameStop sold half of their IMX holdings, which they got on the day that was announced. And when it was announced, both myself and my brother critiqued that decision, at which all the other influencers jumped on and said, how dare you say that? How dare you? How dare you criticize Ryan Cohen? How dare you say anything negative? And that's the world, mate. We live in the world, you know. I have an opinion and you can fucking eat it. And because it gets a level of respect, it annoys you. And because it's truth, it really digs into you. And because if it was lie or it was made up, you'd be able to easily dismiss it. But because it was so true, because it cut through all your bollocks, it lives inside you, and it now festers within you, that you yourself have no understanding of reality or common sense to even bring you close to that point. So here it is, looking at MSCI in a broad and tightened information coming up for a potential apex. Should it manage to close that gap, it will likely find resistance at the 50% fib, the downward sloping diagonal, and just at the top side of that gap. It's also likely where you find a 200 period moving average, which itself currently resides in and around the golden pocket. It's a 4-hour time frame, so I'm looking at the 20th of May to see all of this play out. Down to the hourly, where you've also already got this bullish divergence from the previous lows. Hey, already got this. Right, so look at that, and then look back and see, like, you know, momentum really, really low there. Within the context of price action, it just fallen out of this previous move. Of course, it was going to break. And then in around here, you've got really tight pullbacks in price action, lower than previous lows. RSI not doing that, not putting in the same. So this is potentially interesting. But with that effort, it's also going to push the RSI up to the top side. And in this current profile, that would be in the bearish control zone, because like Constant Brown said, you would move that when the phase of price action changes. And here it is now at the bearish control zone, touching its head off that while failing to put in higher highs. So that's continuation divergence. So you'd be very worried about the idea that it's making a move up right now. It very much doesn't look to be. And you want to be holding that 236 at 467. If it doesn't, I'd be very cautious. I'd want to stop very close, because these previous lows, 458 could easily break, and if it does, price action come down, test those previous lows at 439. That's a huge percentage chunk, and a trader doesn't want to let other people have their money like that, so you would just leave that trade very close to where you entered it in case it went to those lows. If it didn't, that's not the point. You didn't use a stop because it was guaranteed to go there. You use a stop on the off chance it goes there. It'd be far too expensive and a decision you don't want to make, so you just don't. You use a stop. You use a stop. Okay, so when it breaks back above those levels, should you've been stopped out and it makes a bullish move, then you've got a bullish confirmation on that previous move that gives credence to some future bullish thesis. And if you manage to measure support and resistance properly, you can just enter that trade with more context and a better probability of making a success of it than other people who weren't aware of previous price action. So, don't need to beat yourself up. You use a stop. And here, you've got this, you're looking for a reversal formation, you want to see it put in something bullish. It hasn't done anything bullish right at this moment. Yeah, sure, a big drop down, maybe presenting an opportunity for value, but where is the starting point of that opportunity? I.e., where will you execute and interface with price? Well, where it presents the lowest risk, not where it gives you the highest reward. Because like I said, you don't know the future, you can't guarantee it. You want to minimize risk. With that minimize of the downside, you then get an exponential ratio on your reward to the top side, which isn't going to change. It's not like you can pick a top side target out of your hairy bum. It has to come from the chart and previous price action or extensions thereof. And in this instance, that's where it is. The margin doesn't change just because you want it to. If you wait for a lower entry, then you've got a better trade. So if it doesn't get there, it doesn't matter. If it stops out, you don't want it. This is your life, right? You're in control. That's why you're a trader. You didn't want to work at the cheese sandwich factory because dickhead over there was telling you what to do all the time. And here you are. You're going to let other people tell you what to do now that your wage don't depend on it? Are you fuck? You're going to take control of your life, aren't you? Right? So that you can give value back here. Minimum $420 now. Can you imagine where we're going to be in a few weeks? Right? Double it. Remember that story about doubling it, right? I only need 27, 18, 19, 20, maybe call it 20 fax requests, and I'll be a billionaire. You see how this works? It's amazing, isn't it? You guys, you're going to make it happen. So this is the thing, Minner. We'll come back and check on this plenty of times, often, regularly, repeatedly, until such times as you're satisfied, and anything else you want to look at, my friend. And Minner, if you don't know Minner, really good guy, doing really good work, has been around for a long time. One of the advantages of being on the Rocky Outcrop Discord is the money you save. Incredibly, you save money. And Minner's got an indicator that he is free to people who use the Discord and are on the paid side. So you're saving money by subscribing to the paid side. It's for them. He created it from this community for people in our community. Amazing. What an amazing guy. You can get it if you join the indicator here on Rocky Outcrop's Patreon. Be on the paid side of it. Discord, the value is amazing, right? You're actually saving money. Amazing, isn't it, right? Capitalism, America, it's what you fought for, so you better make use of it. Otherwise, it'll disappear. You'll turn it into a socialist republic. You'll have presidents who are 400 million years old, and they'll, of course, it'll obviously be BlackRock telling them what to do. So, vote accordingly, right? Vote frequently, vote early, vote often. Vote Tradespotting. You've got a 236, you want to hold that, you want to target the golden pocket. In order to do that, you need to close the gap, get it back up 50%, break this downward sloping diagonal. All of that's a big ask, a very big ask when you're putting in potential continuation divergence. You're at lows, you've left a gap, you're in a downtrend. So maybe well advised to wait for potential moves to the top side there. And that's what I'm thinking about on MSCI, and I'll come back to this thing in future. It is concerning that it's down there. Right, Minner. Thank you very much. Kitties, you tall legend. How you doing, my friend? $15. That's very generous of you. What can I do for you today, kitties? Hopefully it isn't a fax request because they're $420 right now. Soon to be 840. G.I. Joe, 26 months. Jose, you're a total legend. Thanks very much for being here. I appreciate you so much. Everybody, big hand for Jose. Lisa, 34 months. Thank Lisa. She holds this community together. She's absolutely full steam, 100 miles an hour, works harder than anyone else here, apart from me. And we're right up there challenging each other, right? Two cars had a race. Minner, 35 months. Death of a banana. Friege, 14 months. Friege, are you going to vote for me? Friege, XD, 26 months. Legend, BMJ Shadow, 11 months. J-Core and the Cobb, 23 months. Look at these amazing results. King Sapo, $5. Thank you so much. So we're absolutely killing it here, folks. And that's not to be said what's going on in Discord. Absolutely, totally killing it. If you see people in there, names you recognize, give them a shout. They'll introduce you, they'll walk you around, they'll give you the tour, they'll tell you how it works. They're very, very welcoming, okay? And you'll be partnered up with them. They will also make sure that you maintain strict dress code and discipline at all times. If you see anybody in neck attire, tell me immediately, and then everybody duck and cover. If you get the tour and you see me and you're walking around, don't interrupt me, I'm very busy. All right, thank you very much. What a show it's been. Doesn't get much better than this, folks. Right? Entertainment is taking on a new face. It's taking on a new face. And it's this one. Holy shit. Holy shit, that must have been expensive. Hit the like button. See ya. Tomorrow's Rocky show. Crypto's going to go bonkers. Remember I said 58 might be a good directional trade. You'll have to check in with Rocky. If you took that entry, maybe you're looking at setting a take profit at 72. Is that a good idea? I don't know. You'll have to check in with Rocky.